and get Sophia Smith a little bit more involved. And by getting her involved means just getting the ball at her feet. Secondly, the ball movement has to be better. It'll be better because Coffey's in the center midfield, and she's been dominant in that area this season.
San Diego in the road whites, Portland in the home blacks. We are off and running right out the jump. It's Weaver. Almost slips it through. Sheridan having to go and dive for it early.
Weaver creating opportunities early. You see her smiling, very happy with the ability that she was able to take that ball up and dribble between San Diego, get an early shot off early. Weaver just wins the ball right off the kick, doesn't have to play it to Smith because there's so much space in front of her to continue to dribble. Nobody on the San Diego line is stepping before it's too late. Sheridan does a good job of getting down, getting her right hand on it.
Quick delivery, knocked down by Smith. Can't settle it for a good shot. Not much on that one from Coffey. They will keep it for a throw. The Thorns wasting no time getting started. Talia Cuica will toss it in. 3-1 loss at North Carolina on Wednesday at Cary Park. A lone goal coming from Rocky Rodriguez in the 63rd. San Diego lofting it down, a little too strong. Nothing materializing from Jakobsen. Now Morgan puts it in front. Wedged out to midfield.
We're going to see a lot of transition soccer here tonight because both teams like to get forward quickly. They want to find their forwards feet, and Smith and Morgan. Watch for the transition game and how defenders have to handle that quickly, which means communication will be important.
Throwing goes for Shigita. Korniak almost takes it away. Reedy trying to swing it back. Lines up with Smith. Sophia Smith. Currently tied for second in the Golden Booth race with Deanna Ordonez. Now a wave. Clear it out. Good head forward. Mira Ali, in just her 4th start of the season, gives it off. This one, punch right at Bixby.
I like that idea from Eggman. Not a bad idea. She sees the space in front of her. Why not test Bixby a little bit early? And now Portland, this is an opportunity for them just to settle the ball a little bit, find each other's feet, and slow down this tempo of this game.
Both sides moving with a lot of pace right off the jump. While Portland enters off a loss, San Diego 1 week ago emerging with an enormous 3-1 win against Houston. McNabb puts it right in front of Collision in the box, no call. But Portland gets it away. Not out of the woods yet. Sugita settles. Trying to pass it back. Jakobsen applying the pressure. Sugita misses it, but it will be a Thorns throw. Krista McNabb started all but one game this season.
Right now looks like Bixby might be down in the box. A lot of collision, a lot of contact with Alex Morgan as she was going for that header.
Looks like one of those where she might have just gotten the wind knocked out of her. Again, the goalkeeper available on reserve tonight is Abby Smith should Bixby need to exit.
Watch as Morgan just puts her body on the line against a goalkeeper, not paying attention to where the goalkeeper's putting her hands. Bixby just got knocked a little bit in that one. Trainer attending to her. Good to see her sitting up, though.
Bella Bixby has played all but one game. Gonna look at Reen Wilkinson line through that huddle. Everything Portland does down this home stretch going to be important. Again, coming into tonight, tied with San Diego in points. The slight advantage coming by way of the goal differential. And for Casey Stoney and company, they came back in a big way the first time these two teams met. It was back on June 8th, It was a 2-0 Portland lead very late, but then Taylor Korniak getting a brace in the final 12 minutes to make it a draw, and that really fueled the Wave down the rest of June and July.
The Wave, for being an expansion team, have figured it out early, and to be able to come back from a 2-0 down by 2, just shows that this team is so good and so established from the get-go, and it's because they have important pieces and important spots. They figured out their back line, especially in the center back role. Real and Dahlkemper have been able to be interchangeable, and it's been really solid for San Diego this season.
Cuica finally throws in. Thorns playing out of the back. Launched, long way forward. Van Egmond knocks it for Rodriguez. Korniak swoops in and steals it. Rodriguez again. It's a well wide of Smith. Already talked about what Portland needs to do different to flip the script from Wednesday. How does San Diego keep the momentum going from last week's win?
San Diego has to find their forwards' feet. That's how they found success against Houston. Coming down from a 1-0 deficit in the first half, were able to tie it up and then come out with the win. It's getting their forwards on the ball and not making their defense have to deal with too much is exactly how the Wave can pull it out on this final stretch of the season.
Korniak muscling down her opponent, but committing a foul in the process. Not necessarily a foreign concept to Korniak, 6'1", tallest field player in the entire league. Towering presence. But one noticeable thing from that first time these two sides met is that Sam Coffey, despite being very outsized, can handle her very well on the defensive side.
San Diego is known to be a really physical team, but they also have the height, and all these coaches in this league know that what teams need to do when they play so much against San Diego, who has so much height, is be ready for the second ball. Most of the time, San Diego might win the initial header, but be ready to bring the ball down once the initial header, the initial contact is made. Also put the bodies on San Diego. They're physical, but also compete and make them scared of you.
Seven and a half minutes in the books. Each side with a shot on target. San Diego pushing. Ali finds Morgan. Egmond gives it back. Germa playing out. McNabb touches for Jakobsen. That's a double in the corner. Try to get it out. Cuica put in front, chipped up. Not much work for Bixby. Korniak, who had the look. Bella Bixby, unfazed after that big collision a few moments ago. Rodriguez. Slides for Sugita. Sent to the top of the box. Goes it down. Weaver gets well on the outside of that pass. Wins it back though. Good feet down for Klingenberg. Smith swarmed. And San Diego forces it back a little ways.
Cuica and Klingenberg playing in the outside back role because they have the ability, the speed, and the athleticism to get forward, but also track back defensively. As you see at the bottom of your screen, Cuica was working hard to track back with Jakobsen in case she got the ball. Having that type of athleticism on this Portland squad on your outside backs is so good moving forward. And as we get deeper into this league, here's the foul that Rocky Rodriguez commits on Brady. Instead of just moving her feet, puts too many hands on Brady and pulls her down.
Free kick from just beyond midfield. It'll be Germa. Who has quickly emerged as one of the best center backs in the entire league as a rookie. McNabb wedges it in front of the net, headed out. Bogarsh, her first start with the Wave tonight, finds Real. Pass back cut off. Pass touched by the Wave. Big weekend, Portland soccer. This one going for Smith, dove on by Sheridan. Portland Timbers, who share this facility, took on Seattle Sounders in that big rivalry matchup on the MLS side, came away with the win, hoping the Portland crowd is that the Thorns can do the same against another West Coast foe.
It's been a very back and forth game so far. Both teams have had their opportunities and chances, but it's been really fast paced, really transitional. Right now, who's going to slow down this tempo or capitalize and find their opportunity to be on the front foot in this game? Two pretty evenly sided sides right now.
Morgan certainly gotten her looks. So we're into the 12th minute. Despite the early flurry, including that strong charge from Weaver right off the opening kick. Either side is a significant breakthrough. Sinclair. Oh, rough and tumble near the sideline. Sinclair, the fixture of this Thorns unit.
Sinclair has been a player up top for Portland who supports Weaver and Smith. She is really good at playing those through balls and reading the game, figuring out the right time. But additionally, Sinclair has 5 goals on the season, 8 starts. Not only is she providing just good opportunities for her teammates to score, but also getting in there herself.
Morgan ahead for Korniak. Beat to it by Hubley. Kelly Hubley, Iron Woman, who has played every possible minute for Portland this season. Someone who just emerges as the rough and tumble, getting a lot of praise from Reed Wilkinson.
Coach Wilkinson said that Hubley has done a really good job of just taking care of herself. A lot of players have had injuries throughout this season, as to be expected, but she's such a great example and always handles herself with class, and she's really taken advantage of the opportunities that this team has given her. Has been really solid on that back line and connecting with whoever she has to play next to. Wilkinson also joked that she's still talking about the goal she scored with her head, which, you know, if I scored that goal, I'd be joking about it too, quite often. It was a pretty sick header.
Well, she said we shouldn't tell anybody that she thought that. Well, now the cat's out of the bag.
The fans want to know. The fans want to know. Let's be honest. Classic Hubley. I love how she shows her personality and that we get to see a little bit of that. Her celebration too was
top notch. I mean, it feels like every week the celebration level is escalated around the league. Lola Bonta a week back. Megan Rapinoe after getting the game winner last night. Stakes are always being raised.
The question is who's gonna bring it tonight?
Packed house at Providence Park. Still scoreless. We're at the back end of the 14th. Coffey rolls over it. Bogarsh finds Brady. Sprays for Jakobsen. To McNabb. Bogarsh at the top. Back from Morgan. Swings it wide.
Bogarsh finding herself centrally a little bit, expecting Korniak to make that run. Bogarsh getting involved in the attack, found that opportunity to step a little bit higher. Wave just not ready to run onto that one. Not much space between Bixby and themselves.
That'll roll all the way out. What's allowed this game to be just so fluid through the first 15 minutes?
The reason this game is so fluid is both sides are so good on the ball. They are so crisp with their passes. However, they've also found opportunities just to kick it and find their forwards in behind. The way both of these sides can bring a ball down or find one another's feet is really impressive, and why both teams are at the top of their standings.
There's the extra level of crispness that isn't there with every squad, but both of these teams just have that factor.
Portland has so much experience. They have a lot of players coming back. However, Coach Wilkinson has a new system, working with different things and obviously different players. And then on the opposite side with San Diego, new coaches, new players, but able to make it click early on in this season, and it's still working for them. Really impressive how both sides have figured it out at this point.
Ali the swipe and turboing upfield. Amira Ali fires it off the back of the legs of Coffey. Van Egmond distributes. McNabb to Korniak. Lobbed in. Brady stomps it down. Morgan gives it back. McNabb fires and scores! Bixby left frozen. Christian McNabb with her second of the year. And San Diego breaks through in the 17th.
McNabb pressing forward and finding herself in the attack in the midfield, where we've seen her a lot this season, but allowing that opportunity, that ball to bounce out, and it was really well struck. McNabb didn't feel like she needed to get into the attack once she played the ball. McNabb just holding and staying outside, noticing that Rodriguez is stepping in, and then that shot had to be one touch. Watch as McNabb feels the pressure from Rodriguez, hits it upper 90, and it's a fantastic finish by McNabb to put San Diego up by 1.
And with that, for the time being, the Wave move to the top of the table. McNabb, goal number 2 of her season, assisted by Morgan. Portland trying to respond fast. The Wave settle it.
We spoke about Morgan and how she has been dominant with her own goal scoring, 12 on the season. However, she can create for others. She didn't get selfish in the box, where sometimes a lot of players in the 9 role can do, but Morgan does a good job of just playing that ball back, recognizing McNabb has the better look on frame.
Moving up the left flank, trying to cross it in. Weaver going up for it, punch down. It's out of the area. Sauerbrunn. Touch off for Smith. Can't break through the double, but earns a free kick. An opportunity for the Thorns to equalize.
Ali steps in a little too soon, sticks her leg out on Smith instead of just moving her feet.
Sam Coffey, the rookie out of Penn State. Already has an assist on this season. Ready's up. Coffey serves it in front. Headed to Sagita. Trying to work on Kerma. He puts the pressure back. Kuika lobs it down. A good reach from Sheridan.
Sheridan popping off her line, stepping up, grabbing that ball. Well done by the goalkeeper to recognize that she can come up and win that for her team. Sheridan has been so dominant. You talk about a San Diego defense. She has been a huge part of why this team has been so successful this season.
Sheridan allowing less than a goal per game. Back in the lineup after missing that Houston matchup, having to serve out that red card. Fourth time she didn't get the start. Carly Telford taking over while Sheridan was on international duty with Canada. And then last game. 20 minutes in the books. 17th minute, it was McNabb from Morgan. Jakobsen trying to create an opening. Moves it back a bit far for Germa. Too long for Ali. Smith.
Germa making a good decision to step all the way to Smith and apply that pressure as that ball comes in. Smith is dominant at turning her defender, knows that she can find time and space if she just has a second on her defender. Germa knows that also from their college days at Stanford, being right there, closing down the space and taking away Smith's option.
Certainly a lot of college connections around the NWSL. Stanford obviously a big feeder. Bree and Germa, themselves teammates for the Cardinal. This goes down, too high for Morgan. Down with Ali. Spinning against Rodriguez. Korniak for Brady. Klingenberg halts it. San Diego gets its first corner kick opportunity.
Klingenberg running from the opposite side of the field to slow down Brady. A matchup against Jakobsen and Klingenberg has been a fun one to watch. Two really good players. Klingenberg slowing down Jakobsen and having the better half of it right now.
Emily Van Egmond aims it towards the spot. Sent out. Gets it back from Germa. Second delivery. Headed up by Korniak. Chased down by Jakobsen. It'll stay with San Diego. But Sugita buys some time for the Thorns to resettle. The flag goes up. And Portland gets some room to breathe. Eric Tattersall is the referee. Katarzyna Wasiak and Seth Martin, the ARs. The fourth official is Chris Calderon. Whistled against Sinclair.
Sinclair and Van Egmond getting tangled up in that last play. We spoke about San Diego being so dominant in the air, and sometimes you just have to put a body on them to compete. One of those situations where Sinclair was trying to get stuck in with Van Egmond. Two players that are similar in size, but competing for that ball in the air.
And a couple of international fixtures going in that battle as well. Brandon Ross, Anna Whitty, a packed Providence Park on a Saturday night. Kristen McNabb getting the lone goal back in the 17th minute. Right from the top of the box, picking the top left corner. Thorns setting some numbers up. Apply the pressure to the back. Almost a prime takeaway chance from Sinclair. Korniak, this hits the pass. Aiming for McNabb again. Barniak was the menace in that first game at Torero Stadium. Picking up the brace to account for the Waves' 2 goals, creating that tie in the first regular season meeting of these sides. Sinclair rolls back, and Hubley works it to the left. Klingenberg. Turning on the Jets. Dropped too far back by Weaver, aiming for Sinclair.
San Diego giving Weaver that space down that left-hand flank. Weaver could have continued her run with the ball at her feet, but it was a good look to Sinclair, who was at the top of the 18. Two players that know how each other work and will continue to try and link up in this game. Aspect that Portland has on their side is just how much these players know each other and have experience playing together.
Certainly an asset in the Thorns' favor. Hubley jars it loose. San Diego regains it quickly. Not the best touch from Pogarsh. Now her old squad goes on the attack again. Sinclair. Off target with that pass. Pogarsh will have another throw. Pogarsh traded to San Diego on July 25th in exchange for Tegan McGrady.
Madison Pogarsh getting her first start with the San Diego Waves. Sometimes you just have an extra edge to you when you play against your former teammates.
Smith finds Sugita. Rodriguez gets blocked. And the Wave knock it aside.
Wave defense has been really compact early on in this game, slowing down any chances that Portland has in and around the top of the box. An area that San Diego had to clean up after the Kansas City game, where we saw their defense giving Kansas City a lot of opportunities in and around the box. Only took a few games for San Diego to clean it up, but it looks good so far in this Portland match.
And that's part of the reason why they have the 1-0 lead. Could that change here? Another free kick. Sam Coffey lined up. Rolls it short. Cross in front. Headed out. Cuica. Her chip. Finds the head of Sinclair. Sugita. Coffey. Looking at towards a no man's land.
Now San Diego has put their entire team in their defensive half, really trying to keep this lead right now. However, Portland's possessing, and they're finding chances, and they're putting balls inside for Portland. It just takes one or two passes that click for them that could find them an opportunity on frame.
Coffey. Perfect positioning for Sugita. Slings it back post. Headed aside by a diving Pogarsh. Put in front again and sent to the top. Rodriguez knocks it down. Weaver chases. It'll be a Sheridan goal kick.
Pogarsh saved her team after that initial ball came in. She just got one touch on it, which meant Weaver could not finish it. A lot of scrum inside the box, but Pogarsh was the hero in this play. watch as the entire San Diego team recognizes that ball's coming in. Pogarsh stays with Weaver and just has to touch it. She gets it out far enough, wide enough, where the angle that another player could take on it just couldn't put it on frame. Too many balls popping up and out. Well done by San Diego just to clean it up and get a goal kick out of that one.
Defense falling back and holding firm. Kaylin Sheridan. A quick check as Casey Stoney rallying the troops. And the Wave, an expansion squad in this 2022 season, have certainly raised the bar for what can be accomplished by a new squad. Obviously, a lot of Southern California natives going home, lending to that amount of success. But still, the fact that all these pieces can come together so fast and not only be in the playoff picture, but be fighting for first is unbelievable.
San Diego has a mix of experienced players like Alex Morgan, Sophia Jakobsen, and even Emily Van Egmond, but they have also put in some rookies and really trusted their back line, who Germa's starting, who has some experience in the league but is still really young. I like how Coach Stoney has put in a really good mixture of experience and youth and has turned out to be a really talented squad. Even when players have gone down so far this season, there's been other ones coming off the bench who've stepped up, a really deep bench, and it's been a really exciting team to watch in the NWSL.
Smith creating a lot of havoc up front. Foul will give San Diego some space. The Wave are certainly one of the teams that come in the conversation when you're talking about deepest rosters. OL Reign is certainly in that crowd as well. Portland's had a reliable bunch in the mix too. Van Egmond trailed by Sinclair. This throw will come deep in the final third. McNabb, who picked up the lone tally in the 17th. Receives it back. Sent in front, but easily handled. Portland's gotten those chances. What do they need to do to finally break through and get that prime shot on target?
Portland has improved since Wednesday. They are dangerous in the final third. They're keeping the ball and they're creating space. However, finding Smith has been difficult for Portland.
Rodriguez too far in front of Cuica. The Thorns maintain possession. You can count the number of touches Smith has really had in this game on one hand.
A lot of credit to Germa and how she stepped to Smith and really been holding the task of Smith well.
Smith gets an opening, fires! Lifts it just too high.
It's how quickly Smith can move in and out of pockets and how quickly she can just fire the ball off of her left foot. It's unlike what we've seen in women's soccer, really, is she just takes it to another level and she hasn't even peaked. Watch as Smith, she just receives the ball. It doesn't even take more than 2 touches and her left foot, just the way she's able to hit it with so much power and barely any back kick behind it. Just over the crossbar, but such an elite kick. Strike by Smith.
Smith, another look, developing. Keeps it alive along the end line. Trying to play it back for Sinclair. It's a bit strong. Coffee. Rodriguez. Swings to Cuica. Now Hubley. Steered aside. Klingenberg, hounded by Ali. Puts it in front. Another strong head out from Germa. San Diego trying to break out on the counterattack. Hubley successfully slowing down Van Egmond.
A lot of high pressure from Portland. They want to win the ball back as high as they can, which puts them in a lot of situations where there's not too much San Diego players slowing them down. Portland's done a good job continuing the high pressure as soon as San Diego wants to play out of their own back half.
Morgan was offside, so it'll go right back to Portland. 35 minutes in the books. The Saturday night top 3 showdown. The visitors with the advantage. That would put them at the top of the standings if it holds. Cuica. Sinclair goes to the corner of the box, sends it down. Can't find Smith or Rodriguez. Sinclair another header with no one home to finish.
Sinclair has been in some really good pockets tonight. She had an opportunity where Weaver was trying to play the ball backwards. She's sitting at the top, just waiting for her opportunity to finish it. Like I said, in good pockets, exactly where Coach Wilkinson wants them to be. It's just that final extra piece of finishing it and getting past Germa and Real.
Germa and Real certainly do provide a tough obstacle. Jakobsen dispossessed by Rodriguez.
It can be very hard to put together a center back pairing, especially in your expansion year. We've seen other teams just have to work a little bit to figure out what's going to be the best. For San Diego, they've done a really good job with Real and Germa. One steps, the other person knows the hold. They know each other's tendencies and what each other do best in these games, and I think for San Diego, it's worked out a lot.
Weaver spins to Sinclair, puts in front. But just 2 hops into Sheridan. Sinclair has really been the nexus of most of this attack tonight.
Portland knows that Portland knows San Diego is going to slow down Smith. They want to take Smith out of the game because of how many goals she's been able to score this season. So Sinclair and Weaver have to step up big and be those other extra players who can create chances and get shots off for Portland. And today, Sinclair has done a really good job of stepping in and getting those chances.
Well, in an individual battle between one of the best young forwards in the league and one of the best young center backs in the league, the defensive end of that duel certainly with the upper hand at this point. Rodriguez can't hit Sugita. Morgan trying to speed and take it away. She gets a touch. Coming in at the last moment to dispossess his Sauerbrunn.
Hubley noticed that she messed up that pass, so she got into Morgan, put herself in between the goal and the player, and won the ball back. That is class defense by Hubley there after making a small mistake.
Cuica ambles up the flank. Sugita puts it in. The wave outlet. Morgan pushed down by Sugita, but cleanly so. Outside of the Germa handling of Smith, what's impressed you about this Wave defense?
Wave have collectively done a good job. It hasn't just been Germa and Smith, but it's also been Real, and it's been Pogarsh and even McNabb in moments where they have been in sync and done it together.
Weaver, her entry returned out.
The team defense from San Diego is very well organized. You can see Korniak knows exactly where she needs to go as she's taken that direction from Morgan, and Jakobsen as well reads that well.
Cuica.
Sometimes it takes a while for a team to understand the principles of a team defense. However, the San Diego team gets back quickly, they get in their formation, and they know exactly who they have to take out, what options they need to take out, and they can win the ball back or just make the Thorns a little bit less threatening than we normally see them.
Providence Park crowd getting a show. I am jealous of that man's hair. '41st minute. The lone score coming from Christian McNabb in the 17th. Morgan assisting. San Diego held to 3 shots, Portland to 5. This has been very much a seesaw affair in the Pacific Northwest tonight. Germa. Headed away from the box to Weaver. Klingenberg gets it through to Smith. Trying to put a move on Pogarsh. And a good closeout by Pogarsh to poke it free and get it to Germa. It's been a few minutes since either side has really posed much of a danger on goal, but the build-ups have been there, and the back lines have been clutch.
Portland has had a few more opportunities than San Diego. San Diego has sat back a little bit and allowed Portland to come to them as of late.
This one leaks through. Morgan doubles the lead. It takes one miscue. And the Golden Boot leader adds to her total. 13th of the season, and it's 2-0 in the 42nd.
San Diego capitalizing on a transition moment, and it only takes one pass to break through, and San Diego with Morgan recognizes that she is all alone. Korniak with just the flick. She knows that she doesn't have to put too much on it because that kick from Sheridan is so strong, and Morgan, once you get her 1v1 with a goalkeeper, she is going to find a way to find it in the back of the net and tally her 13th goal of the season.
Her number was called, and she matches her number. As one game after scoring career goal number 50 against Houston. She's certainly got time to further climb up those career standings.
Morgan just playing so relaxed up top. It looks effortless for her. Just the way she moves in and out, her soccer IQ. She understands when she needs to go and when she needs to pass the ball off to someone else. It's been fun to watch her grow with this team, especially with the way she's playing with her midfielders as well.
Providence Park trying to will Portland to a goal. In a hole, approaching halftime. Sugita ahead for Smith. Holds on against the double. Cuica will throw. Tap back to Cuica. Korniak. Nails it a long way out.
Portland Thorns are coming off a midweek game. They've got some tired legs out there. San Diego recognizes that and knows that in transition that they can get more opportunities because Portland just played a game on Wednesday. I think the transition for San Diego was a really smart move, sitting back, waiting for their moments.
Cuica. Little fake. Over to Sugita. Sinclair. Kuika, and now back. Hubley foul trying to get that off. We reach the end of 45 minutes. There will be 4 minutes of stoppage time to close out this first half of play. In for Sinclair, taps it back. Klingenberg's cross sent out. Madison Pogarsh making her first San Diego start has been a force to be reckoned with.
Klingenberg getting forward, recognizing that Portland needs more of an attack down that left flank, so she's taking it under her own wings, bringing the ball up and creating an opportunity off a set piece for her team to convert.
Smith, up top, headed towards net, and swallowed up by Sheridan. Kaylin Sheridan has answered the call on a couple occasions in this one. Has kept a clean sheet on the road. Sophia Smith has only really gotten a couple of looks.
Smith running into the same issue that she had Wednesday night against North Carolina, not getting many touches on the ball, and when she does, she's shut down immediately by this San Diego defense.
Morgan crosses in front, Korniak swings and gets stopped. Back for Pogarsh. But a foul called in the box that'll give it back to Portland.
Portland getting back as soon as San Diego is looking to get forward in transition, being in the box in the right places at the right moment.
Still a few minutes of added time to make something happen before hitting the locker room. Sugita trying to turn it towards Smith. Can't quite do it. Thorns will operate from the back. Sauerbrunn. Rodriguez. Now Hubley scans downfield. Through the middle. Finds Smith. Leads it down for Klingenberg. Her cross. Behind Sugita. Headed effort goes down, and Sheridan holds the line. Weaver almost delivered her second in 3 games.
That buildup from Portland is the style of soccer that this team constantly wants to play, passing around their back line and getting it out wide. Weaver right there to convert, but well defended by San Diego just to contest by jumping up. Watch as Real just puts a hand on Weaver, doesn't have to win the ball, but makes it difficult for Weaver to head.
One of the last chances for the Wave to cushion this lead before halftime. Van Egmond worked around to Germa. Wide for McNabb, who drew the first blood back in the 17th. Kuika. Rodriguez. Van Egmond swipes it back. Back and forth battle here. Van Egmond down for Jakobsen. Sugita, a clean tackle to win it. This tangle results in Portland getting the ball back. An exciting, action-packed first half here at Providence Park in Portland. But it's the visitors who have emerged with a 2-0 lead. McNabb and Morgan leading to this cushion. through 45 minutes.
Portland Thorns playing their style. They're connecting, they're getting passes, they're moving forward and getting them in the final third, but having a hard time finishing it past Sheridan. For San Diego, they've taken advantage of the opportunities that Portland has given them and have converted on them.
What an effort from San Diego on the road. A lot of work for Portland to do in this second half. McNabb getting it done first. Smith and company getting looks, but scoreless at halftime. "45 minutes in the books at Providence Park, and San Diego out to a 2-0 lead over Portland." Brandon Ross, Anna Whitty. Anna, why have they had such a tough time breaking through the wave?
The Waves defense has been really solid tonight, and a lot of credit to former Thorns defender Madison Pogarsh, who was shut down what Klingenberg is trying to do on that right side. Pogarsh knows how this Portland Thorns team operates, so she has that inside knowledge. However, it's also up to Reel and Gurma, who have stepped up to Smith, slowed her down, not allowed her to face up too much, and also just the organization of San Diego's team in general as soon as Portland Thorns win the ball and go forward.
Real quick, key to slip through them in the second half.
The key to slip through the San Diego team is to continue to pass, and they're getting there. Do what they're doing by connecting those passes, but just have to convert.
Back in a moment from Portland. Halftime at Providence Park between the Portland Thorns and San Diego Wave. It is the visitors with a 2-0 lead through 45 minutes. Let's take a look back at how we got here. It was a competitive open to this game, a seesaw battle for possession, a couple of good looks for each of these sides right out the gate, Anna, but eventually it was San Diego that got the first goal.
Once the game settled in, Portland Thorns were able to dominate the possession. They were building up, they were finding their opportunities, but San Diego did a really good job of capitalizing on the transition moments when the Portland defense was pushing forward, getting in behind, and finding several goals. A lot of credit to how Alex Morgan not only created the first goal, but she also scored the second.
The first one came as a result of a strong build-up of play, inching their way up the field. Morgan gets that touch in the box, ever the softest touch, but getting it away into perfect position for McNabb.
McNabb recognizing, too, that there was no reason to continue to go inside the box because there were already 3 different San Diego players there with the ball. McNabb just had to make a quick run up top, recognize the run coming across, trying to cut off her ball, and San Diego going up by 1 early on in this match. And it's not San Diego has not really controlled this game. However, they've just capitalized on the moments that Portland Thorns have given the ball up. Credit to Alex Morgan, how she's been a part of both of these goals in this game, showing why she's class and a huge part of this team. Korniak just continuing to pass this one off. Alex Morgan dribbling past Kuika, getting a good touch in behind, and finishing this one up to put San Diego up by 2. Moving forward, Portland Thorns have to continue to pass, build up. However, once they get into the final third, it's finding Smith or Weaver or Sinclair in a perfect spot to get a goal.
Well, they'll have to operate out of quite the hole here. 2-0 down. Most categories relatively even, but the big difference maker is San Diego peppering the net while the Thorns struggling to find it.
San Diego with 7 shots on goal. Portland Thorns with only 2. Portland Thorns have had a lot of the possession in this game. They're creating their chances, but the shots on goal number has to be up a little bit more if you are the Thorns, if you want to compete.
Still 45 minutes and then some to play on this Saturday night at Providence Park in front of a raucous crowd, but some things will have to change for the Thorns if they want to pull out 1 or possibly 3 points in this critical matchup between West Coast foes. 3 points means the top of the table for either of these teams. Will San Diego hold on, or will Portland come back? Find out next. Second half about to get underway at Providence Park in Portland. San Diego coming in and taking a 2-0 lead. Alex Morgan assisting the first goal, scoring the second. And if this result holds, the Wave move to the top of the table, and there's a very real possibility Portland enters the night in first and exits it in third.
San Diego has to be happy with their performance in the first half, especially defensively and offensively, just finding their opportunities in transition. For San Diego, though, they have to find a way in just throughout the game to possess a little bit more and throw Portland off, switch points of attack, find Ali and Jakobsen in the wide spaces to continue to get points, rather shots inside the box.
What's fascinating is the opportunity gap, given the difference in how much these teams have gotten out of opportunities in the box. Portland 20 touches in the box to just 4 for San Diego, and yet the home Thorns are down 2-0.
Portland Thorns have had their opportunities, and the 20 touches in the opposition's box just shows that they're there. They've had their chances. They just have to convert. It's a positive coming off of Wednesday if you're a Thorns fan, because they struggled to get in the box. They struggled to get in the final third, but moving forward for Portland, it's that final piece that we know they can do because they've been doing it all season long.
Field flips, whistle blows, second half underway, with Portland beginning with possession. Work it from behind. Portland leading the shot battle, but still facing a 2-0 hole. Coffee. Out wide. Weaver. Dribbles to the end line. Her cross blocked out by Pogarsh.
Pogarsh shutting down Weaver as she's dribbling down that inline, continuing to be so dominant on that right side for the San Diego team, cutting off the opportunity that Weaver had to put that ball inside the box.
Sophia Smith has already delivered one corner kick. Could this one lead to the breakthrough? Goes back post, headed wide by Van Egmond. Sugita will throw. Hands the reins to Kuika. Sugita immediately surrounded. Pops it through the small opening, but tapped out of play.
San Diego defensively too, just so strong, putting 2 numbers on Sugita in that corner, not allowing her to work out of it. San Diego's positioning defensively is so good. They know exactly where they need to be to slow down Portland when Portland is in the attack. Portland just have to move a little bit more too. Lose their defender, lose their mark in San Diego, and find the ball at their feet or in space that San Diego isn't occupying.
Slid to Klingenberg. Wide for Weaver. Crosses in front. Tapped out of the box. Ali gets to it before Kuika can settle. And San Diego breaking out the other way. Ali back for Korniak. Assisted that second goal, scored by Morgan in the 42nd minute. Just a complete misfire.
Miscommunication between Real and Pogarsh. You saw Pogarsh kind of tap herself on the chest saying, that one was me. Normally we see Pogarsh moving up a little bit more.
Rodriguez sprays for Kuika. Numbers coming for the Thorns. Sugita to Rodriguez. Centers for Sauerbrunn. Klingenberg working towards the middle. Forced off. Pogarsh has her old squad pinned down tonight. Germa. Lofts it down to the corner. Cross up. But not too much of a trouble for Bixby. Bixby has made one save, but has let the other two through. '50th minute. Will Portland be able to slice into this deficit? Weaver completely misses Sinclair.
Weaver dribbling into the center of the field, trying to draw more San Diego numbers with her, which would give more space for Sinclair on the left-hand side. However, just not able to link up in that last pass because Sinclair didn't read that it was going forward. Weaver's had a good game tonight. She has found herself on the ball a little bit more. Pogarsh has slowed her down and taken away a lot of chances in the wide areas. However, I like how Weaver is getting stuck in and she's working on both sides of the ball, trying to help this Portland team create in the final third.
Rhea Wilkinson's trust in the third-year pro out of Washington State has certainly grown.
Weaver certainly can convert. 4 goals, 2 assists on the season so far. She's had 8 starts with the Thorns. She knows how this team works. She's played with Sinclair and Smith for a while now. She has tons of experience. We know she's capable of it. Pogarsh has just taken her out of a lot of chances and opportunities that she's had.
Another corner kick for the home Portland Thorns. Might this be the one? It's Coffey to deliver this time. Right in front. Sinclair heads it down. Doesn't reach the feet of a waiting Hubley. Sugita to the top. Germa knocks to Sauerbrunn. Weaver doesn't put her head on it. Klingenberg finds Sugita again.
Sugita drifting out wide a little bit, forcing the San Diego midfield to pop out, which creates more space centrally to switch the point of attack.
Coffey doubled. It's like Pogarsh has just that telepathic instinct. She knows exactly what's coming. No figure, she was there less than a month ago, or a little over a month ago.
Pogarsh certainly has experience with this Portland Thorns side, understanding the movement, also the principles of Coach Wilkinson, exactly what this team wants their players to do, and the Thorns are so big on the principles that Wilkinson instills. So because of that, Pogarsh is aware of the movement of her teammates, but a lot of credit too to just Pogarsh as a player. She's reading the game well. She's staying in sync with Real as well on the back line.
Weaver put it in, but Klingenberg couldn't quite get there. If you're Rhea Wilkinson, what was your message to the team at halftime?
Coach Wilkinson spoke to her team, probably wanted her team just to continue the connection in the final third. That was the biggest thing going into this game, was being in the final third more. But it's the transition moments for San Diego that Portland has to fix. There has to be stability on Portland's back line when San Diego plays those balls over the top, because right now the Wave are just sitting in. They're allowing the game to come to them.
Weaver chasing in the box. Brady. Yeah, I think I can understand Weaver's confusion as to how that's not a back pass.
We'd have to see the replay again just to see exactly what happened there, but understand the confusion and why Weaver might be upset in that moment.
Despite the 2-0 lead, this is really the first time San Diego's had extended possession, but not for long. Sinclair ahead for Smith. It's cut off, and Real gets it away from the striker. Sauerbrunn dishes away. Another pass intercepted. San Diego with a rapid counter. Morgan a touch. Gives it back. Brady leading. Too strong for Ali.
Ali wanted the ball out wide. She didn't want to cut it inside Brady, thinking that Ali was going to want to cut in behind Klingenberg. It's a good read. San Diego just needs to occupy the width a little bit more, receive that ball out wide.
Couple of substitutions coming on for San Diego here in the 56th minute. Mackenzie Doniak and Kelsey Turnbow entering the match. Sophia Jakobsen coming off. Along with Amira Ali.
Doniak with a great performance against the Houston Dash last week. Came up with 2 big assists to give the San Diego Wave a win over what's been a really good Dash team in the latter half of this season. She has made a huge difference, and that's what the San Diego side calls their subs, is their game changers. They expect them to step on the pitch and bring their A game, bring a fresh perspective, and bring assists and goals. That's exactly what Doniak has done for this Wave team. And what we can really expect her to do is stay locked in against the Thorns.
Klingenberg to the box for Weaver. Knocks it back. Sinclair fires but is blocked. Korniak sweeps it aside. Doniak hadn't played the last couple of games. Meanwhile, Turnbow, the rookie out of Santa Clara, continuing to get extensive run. It looks like Korniak is getting checked out. Stoney not looking super confident as Korniak gets checked out.
Korniak briefly stepping on the field. Looks like the trainers just want to touch up a scrape she has on her knee. However, this is a good opportunity for Portland to capitalize because San Diego is playing down a woman.
Hubley. Smith towards the sideline. Kuika squeaks her way by. Smith from the edge, crosses, and Sheridan quickly pounces to it.
Portland is there. They're getting balls inside the box, but the balls that they're putting in aren't dangerous enough, and they're not creating opportunities for their teammates to get on the end of it. Smith, we know she's going to be so dangerous once she gets on the ball. Just the ball that Smith put inside the box doesn't come out enough, and it's really easy for Sheridan to come down with.
As a player, is it more frustrating to not really get those looks, or is it more frustrating to get those looks but not put them in the right spot when you need to?
It's more frustrating to get the looks but not able to put them in the right spot, because it's the last piece sometimes in soccer that you can't explain but don't work. And that's what we're seeing with Portland try to figure out right now. It's there for them. You can't explain why it's not working, but it can be frustrating, and the response is to continue doing it until it does work.
Directed out of the box, and Rodriguez starts the counterattack. Klingenberg with an open flank to operate. Moves towards the middle. Coffey gets past Turnbow. Smith for Sugita. Cross goes in. Pogarsh heads it down. It's tapped out of the box by Brady.
San Diego now passing it around, trying to regain a little bit more possession than we've seen them throughout the first 60 minutes of this match. San Diego now up by 2. This is an opportunity for them to slow down the match for themselves. Looking for maybe another insurance goal, however, still up by 2 against the Thorns team, who's struggling to find that ball in the back of the net. Great ball movement too, and Sheridan, a goalkeeper that this San Diego team can really count on to help them in the possession. They can pass it backwards. She reads the game so well. She knows a lot about the sport. She watches film, and that's one aspect that the Wave coaches like to rave about Sheridan, is just how well she knows the game and how well she can play with her feet too.
Lobbed ahead, Korniak in stride. Pushes it wide. Well, for the fans at Providence Park, with all of these looks into the box, they've really just been on the Rose City roller coaster tonight. They're getting in there. They're getting the touches. They're getting the openings, but aren't putting the shots on goal. Still only 2 in the entire match. As Madison Pogarsh getting stretched out. But again, this is a script we've seen in reverse before. The first time these two teams met was on June 8th. At least the first regular season meeting. It was Portland up 2-0 beyond the 75th minute, but then Taylor Korniak manufactured a brace in the closing moments.
If there's one thing you should know about the NWSL, is a game is not over until it's over. We saw that in the match against Houston and Washington just a few hours ago. Houston matching Washington to get the draw. You never know what to expect. However, right now, the way that San Diego is playing, they are dominating. They are getting those moments in transition, and they're starting to build in possession. But San Diego right now, you want to keep Pogarsh on the field. She has the experience with and against this Thorns team, and she's playing really strong by just keeping their threats out wide.
Yogi Berra wisdom, certainly always worth keeping top of mind. Pogarsh to her feet, will go off likely for a moment. 62 minutes in the books. Kristen McNabb and Alex Morgan delivering the 2 decisive tallies to this point. That was coming in the 17th and 42nd minutes. Portland scoreless, despite logging more shots. As Pogarsh goes onto the pitch. A substitution appears to be getting ready for Wave FC. Looks like it'll be Westfall. Sent down for Weaver. Just barely keeps it alive. No, she doesn't. It looked like it had gone out. They'll let her roll with it for a minute.
Referee made a good decision. Definitely out of bounds on that one. Pogarsh with just solid defense to keep Weaver out wide and make her push it out of bounds.
So Pogarsh did come back on, but you could see she's lost a bit of a pep in her step, so she comes off for Kristen Westfall, who up until this point had started every game she played. Now comes in off the bench, and Pogarsh made the most of her 63 minutes.
Westfall spent time with Portland too. 10 starts with the Thorns in 2021. Westfall, with a lot of experience with the San Diego back line, steps in seamlessly, playing next to Germa.
Already a few changes made for San Diego. Portland has not gone to the bench yet. But obviously, most of the scoring production that the Thorns can muster is already out on the pitch. The numbers are forward with a little more frequency than we saw in the early going. Rodriguez pushes it out yet again. In for Kuika. Over to Klingenberg. Westfall intercepts. Trying to break out despite lacking numbers. Korniak bounces it through beautifully. Morgan! And a diving stop from Bixby.
Kuika not expecting Morgan to make that darting run down the left-hand side. You saw Kuika jogging, eventually makes it back with Morgan, but Morgan able to get a good shot off. Portland has to be aware of those transition moments with
Smith
Morgan running.
Finally getting some space that she's needed. Smith, a missile across, doesn't find Sugita. Brady heads it out. Rodriguez gets it back. Her shot blocked by Real. The foul gives it back to San Diego.
The initial run by Morgan where Kuika wasn't ready to close down that space. Morgan, she's so good at making that late run. You saw Morgan was coming down the left-hand side. She waited to put the gas on, and in the last second, Kuika just not able to stay with Morgan to take that shot.
Bit too strong for Korniak. Lob for Smith, too far. And Egmont in control. Still plenty of time for Portland to execute a comeback. It's got to start soon. Then Egmont finds Doniak. Wave continue. Squirming their way upfield. Brady. A little past Klingenberg. Sends it closer. Doesn't reach Korniak, but a corner comes of it.
Sauerbund shutting down that space, knowing how dangerous Korniak could be. Coffee wanting that ball.
Bixby ordering the troops to position. Set near post and off the side net. It's really the only look San Diego has gotten on net this entire half.
Turnbow just not able to keep that ball in bounds to test Bixby there. We haven't seen San Diego get too many shots of their own. San Diego, 7 shots, 4 shots on target. Only 2 extra shots outside of the goals that they've made. However, the difference for San Diego and Portland is San Diego's able to capitalize on the few amount of opportunities they do get.
Big swipe from Turnbow. Might as well take it from that spot. Bixby that far away. a strong strike on that header to return it the opposite way. Westfall. Long lead for Turnbow, connects. Draws the double. Waits for runners. Westfall. Over to Morgan. Entry blocked. It's down to Sinclair. Portland trying to push the pace on the counterattack. 70th minute, still down 2-0. Rodriguez. Midfield with Sauerbrunn. Hubley delivers for Weaver. Goes up but can't get the head on. And knocks it off of Morgan for a corner kick.
Weaver putting herself in dangerous spots, creating opportunities for her team to get set pieces, using her head. I like that look by Weaver. Also, knowing she's not going to get a great opportunity on goal in that situation, however, creating a goal-scoring opportunity for her team.
Smith sends it in. Misses everybody. Entry from Coffey, finds Weaver! It looked like Sheridan might have stepped out, but she clings inside the end line and stops this advance from Portland.
It's been Weaver with her head all game long. She's looking for those opportunities to just head it past Sheridan. A great ball in from Coffey, who recognizes Weaver is able to be on top of her defender. Just, again, not enough power. It's there for Portland, just not enough to push it past Sheridan.
Klingenberg's throw. Bobbles to Korniak. Side steps around Klingenberg and then Coffey. Center for Morgan. Alex Morgan finds Turnbow. Still operating at the edge of the box. Turnbow sends it back post. And just a mystifying misplay on the part of Cuica. If she let it out, that's a goal kick. Instead, it's a corner for San Diego.
It was a miscommunication between Bixby and Cuica. Cuica thought Bixby was going to get a hand on it and just doesn't. There's no reason to push that out. Turnbow does a good job getting it inside. Watches Bixby, thinks she's gonna go, she doesn't. Cuica kicking it outside doesn't make sense. However, it's just the miscommunication.
Those are the kind of mistakes that have led to Wave goals tonight. Van Egmond can't connect in front. Chipped in again. Korniak. Van Egmond's entry. Rolls through. Who needs to step up here for Portland?
Portland Thorns need a collective effort because every piece on this Thorns team is doing their job. Coffey has provided good services. Smith is getting forward. Christine Sinclair has been involved in the attack, and so has Weaver. It's been there. It's the collective effort just to put one in.
Weaver takes a tumble off the ball. No whistle. Rodriguez down for Cuica. Good save at the end line as it stays with Thorns FC. Well, we have our first booking of the match. Throw in. Finds Smith. Slips for Sinclair. Klingenberg. An opening. Back post. Knocked aside and cleared. Kuika again sends it down. Headed out.
Great ball movement from Portland, just to continue to push the ball around, keep it in the attacking half.
Right to midfield. Thorns start up again.
Yellow card issued to Taylor Korniak of San Diego. Korniak with
Smith, bodied down. Cleanly so. That yellow going to Taylor Korniak, her third of the year. And that window for the Thorns to begin a comeback effort is starting to wane. Wave have certainly not needed to be as aggressive in this half, but they get their looks. Turnbow holds on, finds Westfall. Down for Doniak. Mackenzie Doniak crosses. Headed away by Rodriguez. Another takeaway from Doniak. A hard foul in the corner.
Good call by the referee. It was a huge shoulder shove by Klingenberg to knock over the Wave forward. Not necessary for Portland right now. They need to find a way to get in the attacking third and create chances for themselves. And right now, watch as Klingenberg uses her right arm just to shove over the Wave. Doniak just trying to slow down the clock, and that's why she's dribbling to the inline, wants to go to that corner flag.
Delivery, back post, handled by Bixby. Wheels it out for a quick start. Morgan earning the foul from Kuika.
Alex Morgan doing the work on the opposite side of the ball. She's working backwards to win that, to slow down Portland, because we know Portland is very dangerous when they're breaking lines with their passes and they're getting forward in transition moments. Morgan just finding herself touching the ball and frustrating Kuika, who had an opportunity to keep building up for the Thorns.
Megan Klingenberg grabbing at her left ankle there. Rhea Wilkinson and company taking this time to huddle up and regroup. Question is, what can be said in that huddle that hasn't already been said that can make a difference?
San Diego just has to continue to apply pressure on Portland. Portland's had their moments where they've broken some lines and gotten forward. It has to be a collective effort now, especially defensively, the way they played in a low block and kept Portland in front of them. That has to continue, improve, and be there for the Wave.
Klingenberg back to her feet. Thorns FC have not made any subs yet, but two will enter now. Yasmin Ryan on for Sugita. for Klingenberg is Janine Becky.
Janine Becky's gonna provide continuous effort in the final third of the field, where Portland needs a goal right now. They just have over 10 minutes left in this match. Becky, more of a forward-thinking outside back, full back in this Portland system, who has created chances and goal-scoring opportunities this season.
Korniak puts a head on it. Becky boots it out. Morgan hassling for control, but it'll be a goal kick. Getting word that apparently Pierre Soubrier, the athletic trainer for Portland, has been assessed a yellow card. Obviously, I've heard of bench yellows, coach yellows. Athletic trainer yellows might be a first.
I have not heard of that one either, Brandon. I will be honest, that is a first for me too. Certainly a big game for both of these sides and a lot of emotion involved as both of these teams sit at the top of the table. Portland getting handed potentially their third loss of the season in the same week.
A costly takeaway. This has come back to bite Portland earlier, but Bixby keeps it from getting too out of hands.
Rather, the third loss of the season, their second loss of the season coming on Wednesday. So 2 this week potentially for Portland, who have been electric all season long. It's not a panic situation for Portland, though. They have their pieces and they work well together. It's more of just reassessing and figuring out why they're struggling to convert.
Smith launches. The crowd goes into a premature frenzy. The first strong look for Smith, though, coming in the 81st.
Smith pushed out wide a little too much, and that's exactly why the ball went on the outside of the net. Watch, as soon as Van Egmond helps McNabb close down Smith, it presses Smith out wide a little bit, and she took her shot on the last possible chance, just too far right. Credit to San Diego, how they've taken Smith out of this match, just not allowing those types of shots or really any ball that comes into her feet to be threatening. Smith moving forward knows that teams know this. A lot of people know that she is at the top of the scoreboard in the league right now with 11 goals. So players are doing different things and teams are doing different things to take her out of the match. Smith has to level up, find a different element of her game, find different pockets on the field to find opportunities to score more goals.
Center for Smith. Germa pokes it out. Brandon Ross, Anna Whitty, Providence Park, 83rd minute. San Diego off a 17th minute strike from McNabb and a 42nd minute finish from Morgan. On the 2-0 lead heading into the closing moments. Can the home side make this a contest again? Coughed up to Korniak. Could have made for a perfect lead to Morgan.
Korniak certainly wanting that one back. Morgan putting her hands up because it was way too forward. However, now San Diego gets back in their defensive shape and really shutting down this Portland team.
Casey Stoney wanted that ruled out of play, but Ryan keeps it in. Rodriguez can't regain it. Korniak steers it ahead. Taps for Doniak. If you're Portland, at what point, if you get the ball into the final third and then are forced on the defense, do you just sell out?
Can you please repeat what you
Just
repeat that again?
Numbers forward, cause a turnover, do anything. Because again, the goal differential does matter here if you take that risk.
When San Diego's in their attacking third, just continue to send numbers forward, sure, but you also have to gain possession, and you can't just do it by kicking the ball up the field, because at this level it's not going to work. However, Portland have had a lot of possession of this game. They got to figure out a way to find San Diego on their heels in transition and find a way to counterattack when least expected.
Becky pushes a bit strong for Weaver. Well into that final third again. Cuica. Becky gets around Morgan, sends her to the deck. Becky's cross, and Smith way underneath it.
Smith just not getting her body over top of that ball. Using her instep, just doesn't get over it to keep that ball down. Portland is there. They're in the moments and the opportunities that we've seen them be able to score from in the past, especially in the width is where Portland likes to build from. Watch as Becky beats multiple defenders. It's just Smith not getting over the ball to put it in the back of the net. The buildup is what Portland wants to do. You are used to seeing Portland, as soon as they win the ball, they want to get wide and they want to break lines with their passes. That's what we've seen Portland do in this match. However, San Diego defensively, a lot of credit to them taking away these opportunities and making it really challenging for them to be threatening on Sheridan.
Foul that'll give San Diego an opportunity to both launch another attack and milk some time. Turnbow, the one slow to get up.
Coffey and Turnbow going up for a header. Coffey just used her left leg instead of just waiting for that ball to come down. Coffey, I think it was expecting that ball to hit the ground instead of Turnbow's head.
Already up 2 goals. San Diego chasing the dagger here. Down the sideline for Morgan. Punched out by Cuica. Thorns making a substitution. Bringing on the reinforcements, Olivia Moultrie in for Cuica.
Moultrie normally plays in the 8-10 role. How are things going to look different when Moultrie steps on the field? Moultrie going up to Coffey and playing a little bit more defensively, shutting down these options that San Diego have in the last few minutes of this match.
Becky back to get it. Sends for Smith. Just a bit short. There will be some stoppage time, but can't imagine there'll be too much.
Sinclair clearly frustrated right now, and it's because San Diego is shutting down these options, and the passes aren't as crisp as we normally see from Sinclair trying to link up with Smith. It's been a good mixture of Portland just not figuring out and San Diego stepping in and defending at the right moments.
Portland having to play from all the way back.
As Portland move forward and to the rest of the season as they head towards playoffs, the biggest thing and training that the Thorns really need to work on is finishing and getting balls in the box and getting their forwards on the end of them and getting the ball in the back of net, seeing them put the balls in the back of the net, because we know they can do it. They know they can do it. They just need more reps seeing it.
Becky in. Swinging, not much of a hit from Ryan. Ryan's cross above Smith and out of the reach of Becky. And looking down this home stretch of the schedule for Portland, some teams are really facing gauntlets at the end. A little bit of an easier schedule for Thorns FC. Not that any of these are a walkover. Going to Orlando on September 9th. Kansas City on the road is not going to be a simple task, but then welcoming Louisville, welcoming Chicago, which could be fascinating given how they performed tonight, and then closing out with Gotham FC.
Which match are you the most looking forward to?
I mean, I think after, well, I got two of them. I think the next match is going to be interesting. Orlando taking that loss yesterday and have made such an incredible run when it looked like in June, maybe they were down and out for the count, vaulting their way back to bravely being above the playoff line last night.
Should be a really interesting match between Orlando and Portland, just because Orlando have put some really good pieces, especially in the middle of the field, that have allowed them to have a lot of success. A lot of rookies on the pitch too, who've collectively worked well together. I think it'll be a really good game against Portland, a team that likes to put the ball on the ground and play a pretty style of soccer.
And then later in the month on September 25th, Portland taking on a Chicago team that had been hurting for offense, but then posting 4 on the road in Louisville earlier this evening. 4 minutes of stoppage time to round out this Saturday showdown at Providence Park. What, if anything, can Portland do? As it stands, San Diego likely to emerge from the evening at the top of the table. Going in for Doniak. She had the last touch. Ryan misses Moultrie, and it's cleared. That final third execution factor just has not been there for the Thorns.
Right now, this is where the Thorns have been good, is the build-up. Coffee making a good decision because they just need to get the balls forward, and they got to get numbers forward to try and convert in the stoppage time minutes. However, normally the Thorns are good at building up, good at being in the final third, and they are a team that can put things together. Tonight, they have just been stumped a little bit, and a lot of credit to San Diego and their defense and how it's been able to be effective against this Thorns offense.
Portland entered this evening leading the NWSL standings. In a couple of minutes, they'll be in third. Westfall. Doniak can't hold on.
Portland Thorns drop down to the third spot, 28 points. Houston Dash in the number 2 spot with 29 points, and obviously San Diego with the 3 points move up to the 1 spot. We still have so much soccer left to play. Portland Thorns certainly are going to have to continue to get wins and 1 points and ties if they want to continue to push for the playoffs.
Not to mention the fact that 2 through 6 are separated by 3 points.
6 being the playoff line. You have to be team 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to make the playoffs this season. It certainly is a tight run, but always fun to watch.
Smith's entry sent out. A last gasp of air for this Portland forward unit. Coffee dribbles, passes, too strong for Weaver. That's been the story of the night. That final pass, not finding target, that shot that has the lane, not being played the right way.
Smith was taken out a lot of this game by the Wave, opening up the space for Weaver to get her opportunity. However, Weaver just couldn't convert with some of those passes and those headers inside the box. Weaver certainly has plenty of time left in the season to prove herself, and already has with 4 goals on the season.
Korniak back to her feet. Few games to go.
Rodriguez and Korniak going up for that header. Korniak, good to see her back up on her feet. So dominant in the air, proving in that goal with Alex Morgan how important those headers are from the midfield.
Portland's coming into tonight. Led this all-time series 2-0-1. And for the first time in team history, San Diego defeats Portland. And Wave FC sits atop the standings in the NWSL, heading towards the final month and change.
It was a team effort from San Diego defensively to keep the Thorns off the scoreboard. They played in a low block defensively, keeping players like Weaver and Smith out of the box at times. However, in the counterattack opportunities, that's when the Wave were able to dominate the Portland Thorns back line and come up with a really solid win on the road.
Alex Morgan contributing to both goals, assisting the first one to McNabb in the 17th, scoring the second in the 42nd, assisted by Korniak. They now lead the NWSL standings, and Portland Thorns fall to 3rd. We'll wrap this up in a moment. More than 18,000 fans in attendance at Providence Park on this Saturday night, and San Diego emerging with the 2-0 victory on the road to take the lead in the NWSL standings entering the month of September. Taking a look back as to how we got here, Anna, this was a game that, it was a back and forth early. It was a matter of who was going to make those connections. In the end, only the Wave were able to do it.
The game did not slow down until the second half. Portland Thorns had a lot of the possession, and San Diego capitalizing on their moments in transition. However, Portland Thorns outshot San Diego 12-8, but it was the shots on target that really counted for San Diego, outshooting 4-2. Portland Thorns have a really good squad, and they can continue to build off of this loss to the Wave. However, it's just connecting in the final third, finding an opportunity to put the ball in the back of the net.
The goals coming from McNabb and Morgan. A couple things to keep in mind. Yellow cards assessed throughout the course of this game. Korniak picked one up. Caitlin Sheridan picked one up in the closing minutes as well. Bella Bixby comforting her teammates as Portland's falls to third after entering the night in the lead following the loss here, as well as the tie from Houston against Washington. Here are the highlights so we can see how exactly we got here. It was the 17th minute that the breakthrough finally came, and it was a good dish from Morgan.
Morgan, not selfish in the box. She does a really good job of recognizing that at the top of the 18, McNabb is right there to rip one upper 90 for San Diego. And that's where San Diego was so dominant in this game, is that they found their opportunities and capitalized. It wasn't that San Diego had a ton of opportunities. It was that they chose their moments wisely and dominated in them. However, Portland Thorns had way more moments and opportunities in the San Diego box, but couldn't push it through. A lot of credit to Madison Pogarsh and how she stepped out on the pitch for the Wave in her first start and came up big defensively against Weaver, shutting Weaver down. And of course, Alex Morgan, part of 2 goals, notching her 13th career goal of the season and being a part of the first one also.
Get some more cushion in the Golden Boot race, and Madison Pogarsh, in her first start for her new club, thoroughly halting all progress for her former team. That'll do it for us tonight from Providence Park in Portland, Oregon. For my partner Anna Whitty, our producer Jenny Norena, and our entire crew, I'm Brandon Ross, saying so long at full time. One more time, the final score: San Diego Wave 2, Portland Thorns 0.